Hello viewers, hello Zimbabwe. Welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And my name is Ronald. We've got Makusha with Advocacy Talent Rusere. Ndio guest wedu werizora nhasi tichitaura pamusoro penyaya dziri kuitika mukati menyika yeZimbabwe. Advocate Talent Rusere makadi.
Ndiripo makadiwo Makusha.
Aiwa tinotenda. Welcome to Africa and Beyond, and thank you very much for honoring our invitation. So we have seen a lot of things happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. We have seen different things happening. And as young people, I believe that we need to take a role where we discuss about the future of our country, where we discuss about what we should do as a nation. We have seen the issue to do with corrupt deals emerging, the Pomona deals, the water pump deals, and the current firefighting deal from the Honorable Minister July Moyo's office. I don't know your take regarding that matter. How do you view this matter, and how does it reflect the kind of leadership we have?
Well, thank you so much. Without wasting the viewers' time, what I would love to say straightforward, ndezvekuti we all know the kind of government that we have in Zimbabwe, and it's not a secret that the ZANU-PF government have been looting. They have been doing those deals for about 40 years. We are talking about more than 4 decades. This is not a secret. But what matters to me now is the way forward. What are we supposed to do? Because we have been in this situation for 4 decades, whereby whosoever is voted in the office is just there to put something in his pocket. The Zimbabwean politics has been turned into a thing of the stomach a long time ago. But what matters to me, in which I think it's something that we are supposed to be talking about and try to find a solution, is what are we supposed to be doing? Toita sei kuti tibude mazviri. Hapana asingazive chero ukaenda pabenzi chairo riri muHarare mumastreets rinokudza kuti government yeZANU-PF iri kuba, and those people are thieves. And everyone knows kuti all the state institutions are captured. Kubva kujudiciary, military, mapurisa, everywhere. All our state institutions are captured. But what matters is, what is the way forward? What are we supposed to do?
Yeah. So basically, you have mentioned a very important issue, and you have raised a very important issue, the question of what should we do? And in your view, what are the solutions? What is the way forward? Where do we begin? Because the issue is that we are young people. Our future is the one which is being attacked here. What should we do, and what can we do?
The first thing that I believe we need to do as the young people of Zimbabwe is to first understand that the future of Zimbabwe is in our hands, and the future of our children is in our hands. We are the ones to determine the future of Zimbabwe, because we are the ones who are going to have a future in Zimbabwe. That is the first thing. Then the second thing, we need to deal with conscience management. That is from the religious sector. It's something that we need to really look at. And it's a gray area that a lot of opposition leaders or a lot of political leaders have not been talking about. Then we also need to come to a point whereby we agree to disagree. It's not about political parties in the end of the day. It's about Zimbabwe. It's about the future of our country. It's about our future as the young people. If we ignore the future of Zimbabwe, we are simply ignoring ourselves and ignoring the futures of our children. So number one, we need to deal with religious consciences. If you look at Zimbabwe, you will realize it's one of those countries which has got 80% of its population very more determined in Christianity, to the extent that we have got our political leaders who are now using my churches as their political center pivots, where they go to the leader of the church they liaise with the leader of the church. They make some connections with the church leaders. Giving example, yakaita semachechi ana Apostle Paul Mwaja, machechi ana wamakandiwa, where you find politicians going to the church, talking politics in the church. Vachibuda imomo, mufundisi ansara achiudza vana vesangano or our youth kuti they are not supposed to be anywhere connected to politics. Politics is enmity against God. You know, we are being raised in an environment where we are subjected to lies and hypocrisy. My churches edo arikuti distance from politics. But there is nothing like someone being a citizen yet not subscribing to the local politics or the national politics. The reason why a lot of our youth vari kubuda vachienda kudiaspora, it's because they are being subjected to the things they don't really know. You know, we are being ignorant to our very own existence, in the sense that politics is controlling our lives. Trikubuda mu Zimbabwe not because we want, but because of politics. You cannot do any business in Zimbabwe no matter how much we wish. Not because we want, but it's because of politics. But at the same time, the very same person, the very same young person, politics. Let us go and hustle outside the country. I'm hustling for my future. I'm hustling for my own life. There is nothing like that. You are a victim of politics in any way, whether you like it or you don't like it. So the first thing we need to tisunungure ma consciences evana veZimbabwe from chinhu chinonzi religion, not necessarily mean kuti Christianity yakaipa, but Christianity kana ikange yava associated ne politics and hypocrisy, it's becoming a challenge. That is number one. Number two, let us try to do away with politics of surnames. It's not about our political parties. We have been entitled to our political affiliations more than our very own country and our very own lives. When we are talking about politics, the reason for us to be participating in politics is to make sure that we shape our communities, is to make sure that we secure our resources, we secure our futures. But as long as we still believe in politics of hate, politics of surnames, atina kwatinenge tichienda, we need to learn to agree so that we can disagree. We need to learn to disagree so that we can agree. And on social media, you find kuti vanhu vari kutaura politics are young people. But in everything they will be talking, vanenge vachitukana, hapana kana ma-solutions. It's Chamisa this, Mnangagwa that. What is the solution? We need to understand that despite of our political affiliations, we still remain Zimbabweans. And these people who are leading our countries, Zimbabwe, especially Zimbabwe, vaka joina politics vari vana vadiki, vana Emerson Mnangagwa, vana Chiwenga, they become generals vari vadiki diki. They were fighting for their future. They were securing their future. What are we doing? Are we really supposed to be fighting for Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, or we're supposed to be fighting for the future of our country?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Advocate. But the problem is, where do we begin? Because what I've realized, Advocate, is that I've been talking to other young people. There is this young guy, Ronald. He mentioned two important things. Number one, he said that there is apathy to participate in politics, as you have mentioned. Secondly, he mentioned an issue where the young people are not having access to finances to finance themselves politically. For an example, a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old who is still in university or who just left university is not worked, but believes that he can lead or become a councillor or become an MP. That person is not cannot fight a man who has been working for the past 10 to 20 years with resources. So our politics is centered on who has money. Ndoda kukumwa, ndoda kumbokudya. Those are the key words in our politics. And as young people, the question is, Advocate Rusere, I want to vote for you, but you don't have money. How can we make people vote for you even though you don't have money? And what should the political party leaders do to make sure that they accommodate ideas, not people with money?
The biggest challenge that we have in our political arena, especially in the opposition, is we have got leaders who are supposed to be empowering the youth, yet they are not doing it. Our youth have become political tools vanoshandiswa kunoita demonstrations, in which I don't believe kuti that's what we are supposed to be doing as the young people. Kana tichitaura zvokuti mayouth ngave involved in politics, we are not saying kuti mayouth ngave pamberi demonstrations so that they can be arrested and become heroes of demonstrations. This is one thing that the Zimbabwean young people need to understand. We have become bootlickers to the things that are affecting our very own existence. We love our opposition leaders and our opposition parties more than our very own selves, to the extent that no matter what heroes they do, we always support them. So the first step in the equity is also, as the young people, let us do away with bootlicking. Kana tiri kuda opposition party, let it be known that the opposition party and the opposition party leaders are the ones who are supposed to be empowering the youth. And when we are talking about empowering the youth, we are not talking about taking our youth and put them in front of demonstrations while you are seated in your houses watching televisions with your own children. This is not what we want. Involvement in politics yevana kana kuti yevechidiki inofana kuwanikwa in the key positions, the political parties. But what is happening in the Zimbabwean opposition politics is that you will find kuti inenge iri opposition party inenge ichiclaima kuti iri kuempower vechidiki, but they are gatekeepers. Kune madhara anenge achinzi ndo vatakabva navo. Those are the people who you find in key positions. Mayouth anenge achingotorwa kana kwakuda kuitwa mademonstration nekunoita noise. They are not involved in real politics. We want our young people to be involved in real politics, but for them to be involved in real politics, they need to stop bootlicking our leaders. We need to stop bootlicking our leaders.
I agree with you on that. But here is the problem, Advocate Rusere, which I have observed for a very long time. The opposition politics is centered in the urban areas. And if you go to the rural areas, our young people are not willing to go and participate or to run for seats in their own rural areas, especially from the opposition.
It's not like our young people. It's not like our young people do not want to go to the rural areas, but they are not being given a room to. The honest truth that I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, I'm going to publicly say this, but if you look at CCC, let me just give a very simple example. Yeah, Secretary General Wende, he has been moved from one district to another. He has been campaigning for a seat in the parliament from different districts, and he never won. Okay? Pavazomuviwa vachiendeswa kwa kampeni wana president ndo kwavazonokwanisa kuita MP. The thing is, it's not because he has the capacity to become an MP or he has the capacity to have that seat. People voted for the young man who was there. You understand? So basically what I'm saying is, tine problem ma opposition parties edu yekuti vanoto decide kushifta madhara iwayo kuti abve kuHarare achienda kuno contesta kwa Mutare. You understand? Mudhara antoriwa kuHarare but anopiwa Mutare. He doesn't even know anything about what is happening in Mutare. kana atosvika ikoko mayouth anenge ari ikoko ndo vanenge vachitomudza kuti pakadai panoda chibhorani, pakadai panoda chibhorani. Why can't you just give that youth a room yekuva a leader, since ari ane knowledge iri adequate about that district or that area? So we come back to nepotism.
But Advocate, while you are still there, I have seen Advocate Nelson Chamisa has introduced something, and he says, we need people or leaders who are coming from the people. And in my belief, I believe that if I come from Chendambuya, the people of Chendambuya constituency are going to present me as their leader. My question is, why is it that myself, who come from Chendambuya, I am still in Harare, I am still in Bulawayo, not willing to relocate to Chendambuya to go and contest there in Chendambuya, to go and work there in Chendambuya? Because here is where we are going to have a problem, Advocate Rusere. We might have a lot of young people flocking to different rural areas come 2023 to contest under CCC. And they will face a challenge where they are not known in those areas because they haven't been there. And they want to come because it's now election time, it's now primary election time, it's now campaign time. What should we do as young people? Because I believe that there is nobody who is going to give us anything on a silver platter. We need to take action. What should we do as young people before we accuse the older dollars of taking positions and being gatekeepers? What should we do? How should we make sure that we take those seats to ourselves? How can we force things out as young people?
We just need to start the way we want to go. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that we need to be the leadership we wish to have. Because we are the existing leadership in the near future. We are the leadership in the making. So we need to start the way we want to go. We need to be the kind of a leadership that we are dying for. We cannot behave like ZANU-PF, yet we don't want ZANU-PF. And we are saying we are fighting against ZANU-PF. Basically, what I'm saying is, it's a high time that as the young people of Zimbabwe, even Waruma opposition parties, it's a high time that they need to stand up for themselves. They need to stand up for the future of Zimbabwe and their very own future, even within their parties. Our biggest problem, we are bootlickers. Mukaenda kuma opposition parties mchaona kuti kana kuri ku MDC kuna vanhu vanenge vachinzi ndevadhagi, kobva kwaita vanhu vanenge vachinzi ndeva anonzani ndeva komichi, kobva kwaita, you see, and you will find kuti 95% of those people are the youth. Zviriko chero ku CCC. The problem is us. Isusu mayouth achona.
So the problem is us. So in short, what we should do is that we need to go and occupy spaces. We need to go and begin to work. Because I don't believe that if I go to my rural area and begin to work today, and I'm loved by the people there, I don't believe that somebody else will come and be imposed while I'm there, while I'm working, while I'm doing everything.
What happens is we really need to make the young people understand kuti chii chinonzi kushanda politics, because there's a miscomprehension of working when it comes to politics, especially in Zimbabwe. When we are talking about working in politics, hatisi kutaura zvokuenda kunoita demonstrations kuHarare. You understand? So at the same time, we come back to the very same point whereby we hold our opposition leaders accountable for participate kwema youth in politics. They only need our young people when they want to pursue specific agendas. I've got a case yandisiri kuda kutaura pano public. Yemumwe mwana mbopiwa mukana wokutaura somewhere. because there was a need to have mwana iye kuti ataure, so as to push for a specific agenda. Mwana iye achipedza kutaura, she was dumped. ZANU-PF ikatanga kumuteverera, akadzingwa basa, akatadza kuenda kuuniversity. A lot of things happened to that girl. Akauya kuno kuSouth Africa, akachema, and she considered participating in politics as one of her biggest mistakes that she ever made in her life. So what I'm simply trying to tell you and to tell the people of Zimbabwe, or the young people who are listening at me, is that let us not be used for specific agendas when it comes to the Zimbabwean politics. When we are talking about working politically, hatisi kutaura zvokunotungamirira mademonstrations, hatisi kutaura zvekuenda kunopotsera matombo padzimba dzevanhu veZANU-PF kana padzimba dzevanhu veCCC. We are talking about being involved in development processes, being involved pazvinhu zvinoshape our communities, being involved muma activities that unite our communities and our people. The other challenge that we have as the young people of Zimbabwe, being it opposition, being it within the ruling, is that we have regarded politics a profession, whereas it's not supposed to be a profession but a responsibility. Leadership is a profession, leadership is responsibility. And when we are talking about politics, we are not talking about a profession, we are talking about a responsibility that has got its principles. Dzainofana kufamba nayo. But once you take politics as a profession, that's why you will find kuti achingonoita MP, whether he opposition, whether he ruling, achingonoita MP, the first thing that he needs to do is to buy a house in Malaysia or in South Africa. You understand? Then in the end of the day, what kind of leaders are we? We are supposed to be building up our economy. We are supposed to be believing in our very own administration. But you will never believe in your administration if you take politics as a profession, because professions are there to help us vast our empires, not to change communities. Let us try to engage in politics that changes our communities. Kana leader wedu se opposition akaita zvisingaiti kana kuti akaresha, let's be bold enough to tell him kuti, President, this is not it. Because that very opposition leader today will be the president tomorrow. And if we cannot stand up and tell him the truth today, even tomorrow we will not be able to do that. This is what ndozakaitika pakabva Mugabe pachiswa Mnangagwa. Everyone was happy. Everyone was happy. No one considered the true colors of the men. Why? Why? Mnangagwa paakatanga, musi watanga Mnangagwa kutaura kuti we are not going to have a GNU, this is a ZANU-PF thing, is the day the people of Zimbabwe should have retaliated against Emerson Mnangagwa. Asati atomboitwa swear in. But vanhu vakamuomberera maoko vakafara, vakamuridzira muridzo. Then later after, vanhu ndo pavakazorealize that we cannot say anything. Pavada kutry kuita tuma demonstrations nechi, he was already in power, akatumira masoja vanhu vakashudwa vanhu vakafa sezvakaitika in 2008. We are supposed to learn to understand the direction of the Zimbabwean politics. Then the other challenge that we have, my brother, is all the young people who are trying to be participating in politics, they are not doing it for the good of the community or for the good of the people of Zimbabwe. Majority of us, we are looking for popularity. We want to become political celebrities. Whereas this is not what we need right now. Zimbabwe needs political and revolutionary agents. We need revolutionary personalities. not people who are in politics so that they can boost their publicity on social media. That's why you find kuti even parikuda action, parikuda kutite something, kana kuti parikuda kuti titaurane tinzwisisane, we don't do that. We go on social media. More blessing akapondwa akaurawa. Instead yekuti vanhu vamhanya achienda kuZimbabwe vanoungana pamwe chete vaone kuti toita sei nenyaya yeMore Blessing. Vanhu vakatanga kumobilize demonstration just to attract the media. Vanhu vakatanga kuattracta media. There are times we need to be responsible enough to understand kuti whatever that is happening in Zimbabwe, it will never be solved by the foreign community. Majority of the people are riding on the Zimbabwean situation to become popular. We need revolutionaries, my brother. We are fighting, okay, if you are an opposition activist, you are fighting against a revolutionary party. We are fighting against army generals. We are fighting against people who were trained in Russia. Do you really think that they can surrender power only because we have 20 million views on social media?
Right.
And we need to understand.
Advocate, we really need to quickly introduce this issue. Advocate, there is an issue where let's agree on all other issues regarding our politics and what is happening. But I haven't seen young Zimbabweans uniting to rebuild the economy and form their own cartels. We have seen an issue where there are people who are forming cartels, who are running cartels, but I have not seen young people, for an example, mobilizing monies in their constituencies or in their wards to run their own businesses. Because I have been looking for different machines, and I've seen that, for an example, a brick molding machine can be bought. If people put $100 together, they can buy a very good brick molding machine, and they can counter the Chinese, even if they begin at a smaller scale and go on to a bigger scale. Why is that our young people are not willing to put their resources together? Our young people are not willing to put their money together and create cartels which can make decisions. Because, for an example, if we take 100 people from 100 families in a ward, if they put money together and build a business, it means they now have control or a say in that ward, and they can decide who becomes councillor in that ward. And if it is a constituency, they can decide who becomes an MP in that ward because of their contribution. What is stopping us as young Zimbabweans to pursue that route so as to secure economic power and translate it to political power?
Our biggest challenge is that we succumb to political affiliations. That is the first thing. Okay, regai ndikubvunzei mubvunzo 1 ndichanyatsobvunza neshona kuti zvinyatsomeka sense. Tomboti tiri muCCC. Kune vanhu vanonzi vabiti. Kune vanhu vanonzi vaHorseman Ncube. Kune vanhu vanonzi vaThokozani Kupe. Do you think with those youth they can team up together and do something in the community? Vese ndeve CCC. But mumwe nemumwe ibhizare umwe munhu. Why are we allowing ourselves to be taken to be taken as horses by the political elite?
Yeah, I hear you, advocate. But the thing is, politics aside, what is stopping us, you and me? We are not affiliated to any political party.
What is stopping you? What is stopping you and me? What is stopping you and me is politics. There is nothing in Zimbabwe that can happen without politics. You want to do something for the community, there should be politicians in it. ndosanoti ukaenda kundoda kunovaka chibhorani kwachief Munyaradzi kwaGutu, uchisvika unotanga waenda kwachief, vonotaura kuti chief ndoda kuvaka chibhorani. Mubvunzo waunotanga kubvunzwa ndewekuti wabvepi mwanangu? Then the next thing that this ZANU-PF leadership does is they will only give you one condition. Yekuti if you want to do any development in this area, we have to be leading the project. Put your finances, put everything, put your ideas and everything. But no matter how much you want it to be independent, it will still reach the community in a political way.
But
so
is that not our weakness? Because I have realized that for me to develop something in my rural area, I don't need permission from the chief, because there is no law which says so or which suggests so. So is it not an issue of us as young people being ignorant to an extent that we don't take serious matters seriously? Because if I am to go and drill a bore in my community and I'm denied that opportunity, can I not sue the MP, the councillor, or the chief who are denying me that opportunity to say, we need this bore? If you can't put it, let me put it. Can't we begin as young people to make noise about issues like that, where we are making noise about development? We are doing something on the ground. We are being denied access or an opportunity. Then we make noise. Instead of making noise on issues which do not exist. Is it not that we are the problem because we are measuring the minor and we are not following the very important issues? Because on the point I raised I said, what is stopping me and you to register a company, put resources together, or have 10, 20 people or 100 people putting $100 each without any political agenda and register a company, and we begin something which is not politically affiliated, which that will give us power. What is stopping us is what is very important. So is it not ignorance from our part as young people, politicians aside, is it not that issue as young people we are lacking somewhere because we're not making necessary noise in a correct way?
I believe that we are lacking something, yes, as the young people, but not in a way you are presenting it. Because one thing that I would love to understand, or that I believe, is that you can only take a step of suing the local leadership for denying you any development in any area in a country where democracy exists, in a country where the judiciary is not captured. Because sometimes you will see that they will refuse you with a development out of politics, but still you go and try to sue them and nothing happens. But you know, this is what is happening in Zimbabwe. You go and sue the chief. Nothing happens to the chief. He remains the chief. He keeps ruling. But so pandinotini, we are ignorant as the young people. Ndepekuti isusu, we have decided to be political horses instead of being responsible citizens who understands and knows that the future of Zimbabwe, or their futures, is the one that is at stake. Because kana iwewe neni tikasavaka chibhorani muraini medu, achanga ari kurarama in the next 15 years muraini imomo ndiwe neni nevana vedu. You understand? But
yeah,
munhu ari kutirambidza kuita izvozvo is above 60, above 70, and that person's life expectancy haichatombomutendere kana kurarama for more, haichamutendere kutaura zvedzimwe 20 years dziri kuuya kumberi. So our ignorance, we don't want to be involved in real politics. Like I said in the beginning, there is nothing we can do, ladies and gentlemen, without subscribing to politics. Politics is affecting our existence. It's affecting us left, right, center. Politics is control our existence. And the more we try to run away from politics, the more we are driving failures. And the more we are allowing the policies that do not reflect our interests to determine our existence and the futures of our children. This is the reason why you will come to realize that ukaenda kunyika dzakabudirira, the young people and the citizens take politics seriously. They know that the more they don't get involved in political activities. And when we are talking about political activities, we are not talking about demonstrating. That's not a political activity. It's a movement, a specific movement. Inopera. When we are talking about political activities, being involved in politics, having a stake in the national politics, so that we can have a say as the young people. But as long as we do not have a stake in the national politics, yet politics still controls every corner of our lives, then we are being ignorant. That's where we are lacking. But at the same time, ndinopomera vatungamiriri vema opposition parties, because they are the ones who are supposed to be fighting against that, mentoring the young people, upbringing the young people in politics. But that is not what is happening. Ukaona panoshedzwa vechidiki, maybe vari kushedzwa kuti vave vazoimbira, kana kuti vave vazoombera maoko, kana kuti vave vazoita mademonstrations. We are not supposed to be involved in politics when it only comes pakuratidzira. And we can never do anything for our communities as long as we do not have an upper hand in the national politics as the young people. It's our failure kuti madhara ndo ari kutotungamirira politics dzenyika yedu. The young people are supposed to be controlling the Zimbabwean politics. If you go to any other country, the young people controls politics. Come to South Africa. Those young people who are doing Operation Dudula are the ones controlling the South African politics. Now every politician in South Africa is trying to gain relevance. Nekuda kudzinga ma-foreigners in South Africa. It's because the young people are controlling the national politics. But what are we doing in Zimbabwe? Busy hustling, wasting. Izvezvi end up alive iri kuitwa na Tatelicious, end up alive iri kuitwa nana Maititi, end up alive dziri kuitwa nema comedians emuZimbabwe, vana Madam Boss. You find kuti vanenge pane 900 and something views. But ukateerera nyaya inenge ichitaurwa ipapo, inyaya dzekuti vanoseka, kana mapedza kuseka, nothing else more, mobva maenda kunorara. Mangwana makuseni momuka muine stress yekunotsvaga data. And then what? We are talking about the future of our country. We are talking about our existence. You will never see the Zimbabwean youth here. So this is where we are supposed to start.
What you are saying there is true, because from my analytics, the people who normally come here are between around 35 years and above. So the largest group is between 45 and above. That is the biggest margin. From 45 to 55, that is the biggest margin, followed by 35 to 45. That is the second. And those who are between 18 and 25, there are very few. There are even fewer than the older adults who are visiting this platform or who come on this platform. And I have been looking on different political or channels which reports more about politics. I have seen that happening, and it is a tragedy. But here is a question. We have seen that Advocate Nelson Chamisa has refused to hold demonstrations for a very long time now. Many people have been compelling him to send the people into the streets. He has refused. he has refused to promote an issue of individualism. Are we seeing a shift in how politics is done in the nation of Zimbabwe, or what is really going to happen? Because we are seeing a different support base, or the support is going in its own direction, yet the president is going in his own direction, and they are failing to align to his vision in time. And the question is, what needs to be done to make sure that our young people quickly realizes that the president has taken a different direction, and we need to pursue or follow that direction he has taken, which is a direction of putting Zimbabwe first, or putting the national interest first, and basically not relying on the demonstrations and so forth.
Well, it's very true. And I would love to publicly applaud Advocate Nelson Chamisa for his vision. It's one of the greatest that I had ever seen. But the main reason why the people are not coping up with his vision, it's not because it's not the supporters who are failing to cope up with his vision, but it is the people around him. Vanhu vari muzasi mapresident are the people who are failing to cope up with the president's vision. President vakatiitira chinhu chakanaka, and I've seen him trying to push kuti vechidiki vapinde pama-key positions even within the party, which is something that we really needed as the young people. But what are we doing as the young people? President vakuswededzai padhuze, president vakuisai padhuze, then you start aligning with mamwe madhara arimo musystem vari kuedza kuita pull down the agenda yekuiswa kwevechidiki pamusoro. You will find kuti tine vanhu vakasumudzwa napresident vakaiswa padhuze vari vechidiki, but instead of focusing on the president's vision, instead of developing themselves into revolutionaries, they are becoming political entrepreneurs, which is something that is totally divergent to the president's vision. So what I'm saying is, let us try by all means to stop politics of surnames. President Nelson Chamisa have got the capacity to change things in Zimbabwe, and he is the only man who is in the right space and time to make a change in Zimbabwe. But as long as we still believe in our old horses who have been failing us for more than 20 years, we are going nowhere leadership. I think President Nelson Chamisa needs to solve that. He needs to work out the problems within his circles.
Yeah, I hear you. Basically, on that note, my view is that he cannot just purge people, because these people are the people who were around him in the past, and you cannot just wake up one day and remove them all. But I believe that it is the role and responsibility of those who feel that they can take up very important tasks to show their capability and to show that they are capable to run certain portfolios, and they are capable to run certain activities by beginning to occupy spaces in the vacant areas or the vacant places, because you cannot just wake up and become at the top. I believe that you need to begin from the grassroots, and you are recognized from the grassroots that this person does have capacity to do A, B, C, D. Then you are taken closer to the leadership, because even myself, if I was the president, I would not just take somebody because that person is eloquent or is speaking about this and that. We need to see action. I believe that he is looking for people who are ready to be active. And you know what? A lot of people have been asking about the issue to do with structures. Is it not that this is the reason why the president has decided not to build structures so as to allow other people to rise through the ranks, so as to allow other people to emerge, so that he can have quality team when he's going to deal with the issue of structures and membership and leadership issues. You have cream yevanhu vanonyatso reliable vanhu vanonyatsoshanda. Is it not that view that, is it not that the strategy is employed to bar any issue to do with structures at this moment so as to identify real people to work with?
Unfortunately, CCC is a big organization that the president alone is not able to influence. So when it comes to positions in CCC, it's not the president who appoints people. It's a big organization that have got its procedures, which are being abused to drag the movement by a certain group of people who believes that the president is probably wrong in taking some of the most youngest people into key positions.
So we are in
as
agreement
much
that okay, continue.
so as much as I understand, I would love to believe that it is our responsibility somehow as the supporters. It is the responsibility of the CCC supporters to support and to make sure that the leadership, which is closer to the president, supports the president's vision. Politics dzinoshepwa ne-electorate, but dambudziko ratinaro as the electorate nderekuti we have become bootlickers. We support the rot. We applaud the rot. We have become so ignorant that we cannot scrutinize my problems atinenge tiinawo as the opposition. If you start talking about those problems, you become a ZANU-PF ally. You become an infiltrator. But the idea is not to infiltrate, and the idea is not to clash. The idea is to help people understand the vision of the president. The idea is to have a movement that is solid. We cannot have, you see, unoona zvakaita bot riya ravanoti kanu riya rekuti unenge mumwe anenge agara apa, mumwe anenge agara apa, iwe uchipusha nechidanda chako the other side, mumwe achipusha the other side. Kana one akamira kupusha mvura iyaya, bhoti rinotena, hariendi kwamunenge muchida kuti riende. So zvinofana kubalanza. This is what we need. And it is the responsibility of the people who are supporting CCC to make sure that the president's vision is followed. To make sure that all hypocrites, vari muzasi mapresident, are ripped off. Because there are a lot.
I hear you, Advocate. So because of our time, we need to recap so that we can quickly come to the conclusion. Regarding that matter, it is my view that it is you and me who is going to shape the politics of Zimbabwe. It is you and me who is going to shape how CCC is going to perform. Personally, I'm not there for positions. I don't need any positions. All I need is to have an advisory role, is to speak the same way I'm speaking right here. I love talking, I love speaking, I love finding out ideas and finding out new things. So my question is, the last question before we round up is, we need reforms in Zimbabwe. And let's talk about the electoral reforms because we're heading to 2023. what are the reforms which we need? Do we have specific reforms as young people, not as politicians, but as young people, which we wish to have in place so that if those reforms are implemented, we can quickly make sure that we participate in the politics. For an example, I would want to give you an example where there is an issue of funding. There are other people who are suggesting that funding should be done not to politicians, but should be done to contestants, not to political parties, but should be done to contestants. The people who are contesting, the government should find a way of making sure that we get a dollar from the money which is available. The other people are suggesting that as the reforms they want. What are the reforms do we need as young people?
The only kind of reforms that we need in Zimbabwe when it comes to my votes, my reforms anotibatsira kuti tive a transparent counting yemavotes, reforms anotibatsira kuchengetedza mavotes nekumeka sure kuti mavotes anopronouncwa sezvaabuda ari without rigging. And it's a very big process, because mukacherechedza muchaona kuti zeki yakatotanga kubirira mavotes kudhara iwo asati aitwa, in the sense that you will find kuti I have discovered kuti there are a lot of double registries when it comes to the voters roll. Unonoregister kuvota ka1 wobva waregistrwa ka2 with two different manhingirikini ma-addresses nema-constituencies, and they really know kwawakaregistira. They really have that information in their database. So what is going to happen is zita rako richaramba ririmo musystem, but musi wekunovhota haukwanise kuvhota, because kwaunenge wakaregistira kuvhota hakusiko kunenge kuine zita rako. So try to imagine kuti how many polling stations do we have in Zimbabwe? Izvozvo zvikangoitirwa tikati papolling station yega yega ZANU-PF yakwanisa kubvisa vanhu 15 ngatingoti 10 ndo vaitirwa izvozvo. How many polling stations do we have in each district? Saka chimultiply vanhu 10 by all the number of the polling stations that we have in Zimbabwe. So it's a very big process yekuti kana tichida ma-reforms isusu as the young people, the first thing is to secure kuregister to secure the voters roll, and to make sure kuti it's done in a proper way, the way it's supposed to be done. Hakuna madouble entries, and hakuna kuti iwo wanoregistera kumacheke unobuda zita rako riri kumarondera. So that's what ZANU-PF is doing. Anenge achitwa kunge mistakes like those are common mistakes within the electoral processes, zekuti panoitika double entries, unowana imwe address yako iri kwaGutu, imwe address yako iri kucheGutu. In the end of the day vari kutoziva kuti uyu munhu uyu yake chaya address ndeye kwaGutu, saka musi wekunovhota anenge ari kwaGutu hauwanikwe ikoko, but ukazoenda uchinocheka zita rako online you will find kuti unenge uripo but unenge uri kucheGutu. So vakainconvenience vanhu 10 pa each polling station. Majority of those people, you see, ZANU-PF knows, and they know the age regiment inokwanisa inogona kunge, okay, they know the age regiment inovhotera opposition. They really know. So vakainconvenience vantonziva kuti pavanhu 10 vachainconvenience, 7 of those people are opposition. Then in the end of the day my elections abirirwa. So the first thing we need to secure the voters roll. We need to vote, and kana tavhota as the young people hapana chinotitadzisa kungospenda just one night. Ike zvino zvitiri kwatiri ngatitsvagei mari dzekuti musi waunovhota pawavhotera ndo paunorarira, ndo paunoswera ipapo. Hatingatadze kushanda mari dzekuspenda just a day. woswera ipapo worarira ipapo kusvika mavhotsi averengwa apedzwa. Mavhotsi achipedza kuverengwa, the next day tobva tanzwa maresults emavhotsi. This is what we need as the young people. That's being involved in politics. Kwete tinoenda tonovhota mavhotsi osara achibirirwa taenda kudzimba takavata tozomuka mangwana tichiti tiri kuita demonstration. That's rubbish.
Yeah, I hear you and I agree with you on that. And one last thing on that issue to do with the issue of people being moved from the voters' roll. There is an issue here where you have your that voter registration slip. You have it. It is specifying that you are registered at a certain polling station, and you are there at that certain polling station. Then there is an issue of number one, you can check on the internet, on the ZXBVR system, and it shows where you are registered to vote. It shows your polling station. That is on internet. Then there's an issue where you can dial on your a USSD code on your phone, *216# to check where you are registered to vote from. Which means each and every person, before we go to the elections, does have access to say, few weeks before, you can verify your voters, the place you can vote from. You can verify it by checking that number. And also, there is an issue where the councillors, they have access to voters' rolls before the elections. And is it not possible for people to compel the courts to give an order where if my name is not found in the voters' roll, but I'm registered and I have the slip, the officers, they are compelled to use that *216# to find out if I am in the voters' roll, the digital voters' roll, and allow me to vote? Or is there no need for us to compel the courts to allow councillors to have access to the voters' roll and make sure that if there are complaints from their members or from any person who makes a complaint that he has been moved, is there not a need for us to compel the courts to make ZEC correct that before we go for an election? And does that not call for voter fraud and disqualification of certain candidates, or the rerun of certain elections, if that is found that a lot of people have been moved out from their places and they are in possession of those voter registration slips?
Well, that would be a very good idea, but that can only happen in a country where there is rule of law. Not in a country like Zimbabwe. You find your name really kuneimwe nzvimbo kwasara 3 days kuti uende kunovhota. You try to liaise with ZEC. ZEC will tell you that they are always busy. They are busy with the elections preparations. ZEC will not attend to you. This is Zimbabwe for you. So we really need to be realistic with ourselves as the young people. Tonyatsokunzwisisa kuti in Zimbabwe, ZEC is not an independent institution as it is supposed to be, according to the Zimbabwean constitution. Law does not exist in Zimbabwe, my brother. We need something else to secure our futures out of law. This is all I can say to the young people of Zimbabwe.
Okay, Advocate Rusere, thank you very much for being here. Team Zimbabwe, this was Advocate Talent Rusere, and he has made much contributions to what needs to be done as the young people of Zimbabwe regarding the politics and the economics of the nation of Zimbabwe. And the key point is that we need to participate, we need to take responsibility, we need to make sure that we are involved in each and every decision-making activity which happens in the nation of Zimbabwe, and our direct involvement is very essential and very important. Advocate Rusere, I would like to have you some other time, and thank you very much for your time. Your last words to the people of Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. My last words to the people of Zimbabwe is, Go and register to vote. Stop being used as puppets by politicians. And when you go to vote, don't vote for anyone. Vote for yourselves and your children.
Thank you very much, Advocate Rusere. It has been a great time having you on this platform. Let's meet again in other episodes and other programs. So, Team Zimbabwe, this was Advocate Talent Rusere, and you have heard from him directly. This platform will give people opportunities to come here to speak so that they air out their views. So if you want to come here live on this program, you are free to use the number appearing on the screen to request to be part of this platform. So if you say hi to that number, you automatically get a message which will lead you to our WhatsApp group. But if you want to come live on this program, please send up a follow-up message telling us that you want to be part of this platform, or you want to come here live and give us your views, and we will give you that opportunity. So long as Zimbabwean, so long an African, we will give you that opportunity to come here live. Thank you very much for your contributions. Thank you very much for coming out. Mkoma Elisha Mapfua, Mkoma Joshua Chiwariro, thank you very much all for coming here, and thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate. Kindly hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out each and every time we go live or we post an update. So we have a lot of issues to cover tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow. Munyika yeZimbabwe dzakasiyana siyana. Going forward, we will begin to come here and check on what is happening in Parliament. That is our responsibility, that is our duty, to check and update you what is happening in Parliament, checking what bill is being debated, what is being said, everything. We are going to make a follow-up on what is happening in Parliament, and we have that capacity and capability to come with such issues. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for your time. Let's meet in other episodes. That is probably tomorrow, God permits.